The first time I saw her, I didn't know whether to be terrified or impressed. She stood at the edge of the training arena, her armor gleaming with a metallic iridescence that shifted colors with every movement. She was the champion of her people, the Xiran warriors, known across the star systems for unmatched skill, discipline, and ferocity in battle. Even the thought of challenging her, or standing in her presence unprepared, sent shivers down my spine. I had been sent as an observer, human, untested, and under-equipped. My mission was simple: gather intelligence on Xiran tactics, report back, and remain invisible. But as soon as she walked into the arena, I realized that invisibility was impossible. Every eye, including mine, was drawn to her. Her gaze swept the crowd before landing on me. Violet eyes, flecked with molten gold, scanned me with the precision of a predator. I froze, trying to look professional, pretending to adjust my tablet and failing miserably. "You, human," she said, her voice clear, resonant, and commanding. "Step forward." My heart pounded.
Me?
Step forward? I had expected guards, fellow warriors, perhaps a translator. But me? Reluctantly, I moved, feeling every inch of the arena's polished floor beneath me. "Do you wish to observe or to participate?" she asked, a sly edge in her tone. Her words carried an implication I didn't understand at first, but the anticipation from the gathered crowd was unmistakable. I am just observing," I stammered. "Observation is boring," she replied with a faint smile. "Words are cheap. Actions are what I value." Before I could respond, she extended her hand, not in aggression, but in a gesture that invited me into the first trial, a test of reflexes, speed, and strategic thinking. The Xiran's eyes glinted with challenge. And she was offering me a chance? The arena morphed around us. Energy barriers rose, platforms shifted, and holographic targets materialized midair. The challenge was simple in principle: survive, adapt, and match her moves. Simple, that is, if you weren't facing the galaxy's finest warrior. She moved first, every motion fluid, precise, deadly. Her strikes were lightning fast, yet elegant, like a dancer commanding a performance that could kill. I dodged instinctively, relying on reflex, logic, and sheer willpower. I was slower, yes, but unpredictable, and the Xiran was unaccustomed to unpredictability in humans. Midway through, something unexpected happened. I made a slip, a minor misstep, and she laughed, a soft, melodic sound that echoed across the arena. I froze. Did she just laugh? "Yes, human," she said, eyes twinkling. "You are reckless, but you are also entertaining." My face heated. I had not expected flattery, especially not from a warrior who had never lost a duel in her life. The second trial was mental. Hologrids displayed intricate patterns, shifting sequences of symbols and energy pulses. We had to predict the next pattern, outthink each other, and avoid traps. She moved confidently, eyes scanning every shift in the grid. I hesitated, analyzing carefully, noticing subtle anomalies she seemed to miss. By the final round, I had caught up. The crowd murmured. A human keeping pace with a Xiran warrior? Impossible. Yet somehow, through a combination of strategy and intuition, I managed to match her moves. She paused. Her expression shifted. Curiosity, amusement, and a hint of admiration crossed her features. "You are different," she said softly. "Most humans are predictable. You are not." The third challenge was the duel proper. Energy blades materialized in our hands, humming with raw power. The fight was intense. Strike after strike, parry after parry, we danced across the arena. Every movement was calculated, every decision critical. Sweat ran down my brow, Adrenaline surged, and yet I refused to yield. At one point, I misjudged a step and stumbled, but before she could exploit it, I recovered, using my momentum to redirect her force. Her eyes widened. Then something happened that I had not expected. Her cheeks, or what passed for cheeks on her species, flushed, a deep reddish hue spreading across her bioluminescent skin. I froze mid-strike. Did she just blush? Yes, human, she said, voice low and almost amused. Did you think your words were unnoticed? I realized then that earlier, during the first trial, I had accidentally said something aloud. I had muttered, "She's incredible," while analyzing her movements. It was meant to be an observation, not a compliment, but somehow she had heard. Her blush, her reaction, it was both shocking and humanizing. For a being of immense power and control, she had just revealed vulnerability, emotion, and perhaps a trace of respect. After the duel, she extended a hand, not in combat but in acknowledgement. "You surprised me, human," she said. "Few can match skill with unpredictability. Fewer still can elicit a reaction like that in me." I swallowed. I didn't mean to. She cut me off with a chuckle, one that resonated through the arena. "No harm done. In fact, your forthrightness is rare. Admirable." From that moment, the dynamics changed. She began inviting me to observe more closely, not as a passive human, but as a participant in her world. We sparred, strategized, and even trained together. Each session revealed new facets of her personality, discipline tempered with curiosity, ferocity balanced by wit, and an unspoken acknowledgement of my human qualities that her species often dismissed. Weeks later, we were dispatched on a joint mission to a volatile asteroid belt, where a rogue faction threatened a neutral trade station. The mission was dangerous. Hazards everywhere, from gravitational anomalies to hostile automated defenses. And yet, with her guidance and my human improvisation, we navigated the field, neutralized threats, and rescued the station with minimal casualties. Throughout it all, I noticed subtle shifts. Her respect for human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability had grown. And occasionally, when she thought I wasn't looking, that same reddish blush would appear, rare, fleeting, human-like, yet powerful. By the time we returned, the council had taken notice. Humans were no longer just fragile observers. They had potential. And for me, personally, everything had changed. I had been underestimated, dismissed, and yet, through a combination of honesty, intuition, and persistence, I had earned trust, respect, and perhaps something deeper with the galaxy's most formidable warrior. Even simple words, whispered in passing, had consequences. They could humanize the untouchable, bridge gaps between species, and alter the course of interstellar relations. One compliment, one accidental observation, had left me speechless, and now I realized it had changed everything. Years later, I would reflect on that first moment in the arena. One word had pierced centuries of training, discipline, and reputation. One human whisper had earned me not just respect, but opportunity, trust, and a bond that spanned star systems. And the warrior? She remained formidable, deadly, and commanding, but now, occasionally, she would glance my way, and I would see that faint, reddish glow of acknowledgement, a reminder that even the greatest of beings could be moved by honesty and courage. The galaxy was vast. The stakes were high, and yet all it took was a single moment, a human word, to change everything.